Amen. When I was thinking about my remarks about the legendary Amon Bowles, I recalled a famous line from the man who shot Liberty Valance. When fact becomes legend, print the legend. So I thought with Amon, just print the legend. At the helm of Magnolia, in business for 20 years, 500 titles, 17 Academy Award nominations, and the annual Magnolia Christmas party. And I thought, nah, legend printing is not exactly my thing. So instead, how about an investigation? Something like Enron, which is one of the films that Amon distributed. So I went with that. Amon was born in Belfast, Ireland, or Northern Ireland, I should say. Grew up in New Rochelle from troubles to trouble. By his own account, Amon grew up a film rat in the pre-VHS days when you would get high and troll indie cinemas for midnight movies where, says Amon, he would melt into the images. He worked at some famous and infamous companies, the Samuel Goldwyn Company, I worked there also, the Shooting Gallery, and Miramax, as in Harvey Weinstein. He started Magnolia at the Toronto Film Festival in 2001, just before the planes hit the Twin Towers on 9/11. He had to drive back to New York, where in the smoke and dust of that terrible moment, he was starting from scratch, with a sense of unease and promise. With a grub stake from Todd Wagner and Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban, whom Amon invited to spend a week working at the company back in the day, Amon started Magnolia with a motley crew that was meant to be a guerrilla army, avoiding the boom and bust debacles of bigger companies and advancing under darkness of night by nimbly using new technologies like the fax machine, HD, day and date, and VOD. Of course, bands of high-tech guerrillas make mistakes with old-school tech. But even when they did, they found ways of turning defeats into victories. I remember having the premiere of Enron in Houston, right in the teeth of enemy territory, and that was Amon's idea. And we were all having a drink at Ken Lay's favorite restaurant when a Magnolia scout came rushing in with bad news. It seemed as though the plot of the movie had changed. Changed? A quick diagnosis revealed that it was likely that the reels, remember film reels, had got mixed up, and reel 3 had run after reel 1, and now reel 2 was running. Should we stop the show and start over? We all eyed our glasses of newly delivered margaritas and made a collective decision. Nah. During the Q&A, as I launched into a lengthy apology, I noted the quizzical expressions on everyone's faces. No one had noticed. Magnolia magic. The rocket fuel that launched Magnolia and kept it in orbit, the rocket fuel that launched Magnolia and kept it in orbit was Amon's love for movies. All kinds of movies. There were docs, Man on Wire, Jesus Camp, Collective, I'm Not Your Negro, great directors like Bong Joon-ho, Steven Soderbergh, Raoul Peck, wonderful discoveries like Ong Bak and 13 Assassins. And during COVID, Magnolia was my Criterion collection. Favorite of mine was Blow the Man Down. All that said, for all the great things that Amon has done for independent cinema, for a filmmaker, meeting him for the first time could be difficult. He's reserved. In a conversation, you got long silences, a pocket full of mumbles, and occasional short phrases he jabs at like a snapping turtle. You're initially impressed by the notes he takes on his legal pad, however, so your mind is at rest until you look over with a quick glance and a quick glance reveals nothing but a series of very complex doodles. Luckily, his actions as a promoter of films speak louder than words or notes. When I think of Amon's taste and skill as a promoter, what comes to mind is the word impresario, someone who turns his enthusiasm for films into innovative ways of getting them seen. But as special as all this is, film distribution is really only a sideline for Amon. His real job is something else. Let's have the clip. Having done what he's done, Eamon Bowles got a right to move and do what he wants. Let's give it up for Eamon Bowles.